welcome to Should I Buy This Game? Featuring Hickory Dickory. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played and then share some things I might like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Hickory Dickory to your collection.
This is the game Hickory Dickory, and in this game you have little mice that are scurrying around gathering tiles so they can make deliveries so you can score points at the end of the game. So the game starts at 7 p.m. It is played over 5 rounds until the clock hits midnight. And you start with 4 mice. So the first one is the scavenger. And he's the big fellow, and he can hold 5 items, which are 5 of these tiles, in his pouch. This guy here, he is the little spotter. And his ability is when you search, you can look at one extra and choose which one you want to keep when you come to the search abilities. This guy here is the scurrier, and he is able to jump ahead 1 to 2 spots on the clock. So when he's on his if you were on 1, he'd be able to jump ahead to either 2 or 3. So ahead, so you can try and get those tiles before somebody else gets there before you. And then we have the little scamp. Now the scamp doesn't start off in play. The scamp comes when you come to this tile here. You have to trade in a tile to relieve your scamp off his playmat. From there, he also has an ability that if you come to this again, he could teleport, and potentially you could get an extra turn out of him depending where he is. And those are the 4 mice that are in play during the game. So the game plays with the little minute hand moving each turn. And so as it moves, you make decisions. The mouse on front, that color can decide if he's going to stay on to try to get to somewhere else, or if they're jumping off. If they choose to jump off, if they're the first mouse there, they get the little tile to add to their player board. And then they get to do the actions. So I'm going to go over some of the actions. So this one allows them to trade in a tile and get their scamp, that little mouse I showed you earlier. And if it's already on the board, then they can move it to somewhere else. Over here, we're allowed to move on the chain. So down at the bottom, we have the chain that the mice are climbing up. As the mice climb up, they would get points depending at the different levels. And once they get to the top, the first mouse gets 9 points. And then we just move this up. And each time somebody else reaches there, we move up and they get less points. Here we have, you can get a favor card. These are the favor cards, and they have a bunch of different things. This one allows you to trade in 1 tile to visit the spider web. This is the spider web market, and here you're allowed to choose either 2 of these tiles or 1 of these, and these are wild. That can be any tile you want it to be. Another option is you can move your scamp mouse, or you can use this as a tile when trying to get some conquests. Here you're able to move up the chain. And this one allows any of your mice to jump 1 to 3 spaces ahead. So not just the scurrier, you could use it on any of the mice. And these cards can be played anytime during your turn. So that's just a sample of some of the favor cards. If you were to move here, you get to search and get a tile. So this is the little bag, and all you would do is reach in, get a tile, and add it to your board. But if you had the spotter, that's when, if the spotter was doing this action, that's when you could take 2 and choose which one you wanted to keep. Here on the board is that same action of spending a tile to visit the spider market. This is where you cash in your deliveries, and that means you're moving them from your player board, from the little individual mice, into your hunt board. but you can only move the tiles of the mouse that is making the delivery. We have another search, some more favor cards. This one allows you to move 2 up the chain and trade 2 tiles to visit the spiderweb market. This one allows you to move 1 up the chain and change in 1 tile to get 2 from the bag. This is another delivery place to move your tiles onto your hunt board. And this one here is special. If you happen to get one of these tiles, with the little gold tiles with the little stars, then you come here and you can trade it in for 5 points plus a favor card and then jump ahead 1 to 3 spaces. And those are basically the actions you take during your turn. Now I'm just going to talk a bit about making a delivery. So say here our scavenger was ready to make a delivery and his bag was full here with all 5 tiles. Now it's up to you. You can deliver all 5 or just a couple at a time. In this case, I'm going to deliver all 5. So I would move them off his board because we need to score them. And what you do is you score points for how many. So since there's 5, I would score 5 points automatically. Then you score by color. So I have 2 green, so I would score an additional 2 points. And then you score by shape. I have 2 dice, so I would score 2 more points. Now when you're scoring, you always want to make sure you look at these cards here for bonuses. And I have both the die and this little button shape in the blue and the green. So I am able to do this scoring conquest, and I would automatically get 5 points on my scoreboard. Now this would get refilled at the end of the round, not automatically. So now we want to make our delivery, and these were the 5 I was doing. But when we look at my board here, I can only actually use the purple die and the green spool. But because I scored these 3, they're just going to be put back into the bag, and I don't do anything else with them. And on your board, your goal is to make lines. So every time you make a line, horizontally or vertically, you will receive 5 points at the end of the game. So now I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, allowing me 25 points at the end of the game. If I was able to complete to get those, then that would add to my points. I just want to point out that everybody has different hunt boards and they're all looking for different items in different colors. And the other thing on the hunt board is it actually tells you where your mice will start at what space for each of them. Now once the clock hits 8 o'clock, it is time to introduce the cat paws. And so going forward with each round, what you would do is you roll a die. This time we got a 10. So a cat paw would go on 10. Now if there's a mouse there, it moves on to the next one. And number 10 gets covered, which means in the next round, you are not able to stop at number 10 and do the benefits. Then you would roll again. This time I got a 7, so this mouse would move along and we wouldn't be able to stop there. Now if you roll the same number twice, you put both paws on the same number and only one spot would be forbidden because the cat's there ready to scratch your little mouse. Now I just want to talk briefly about the solo mode. Instead of starting at 7, your clock starts at 6. You put in both the 2 and 3 player blockers, so only 2 of your mice can be on the hand at once. And the only other difference is with the cat scratches, if they catch you and scratch you, then you lose a tile from your player board. Otherwise, you're just playing it normally and trying to get to 100 points before the clock hits midnight. So overall, this is a really cute game. I think this game would be great to pull out when you have people coming over to play games, and especially people who don't play board games. If you were to pull this out, I think they'd be really surprised and excited to play something that looks so interesting. And it's also an easy game, so it's easy to teach to new people and have a nice evening. Now, the one thing we really like too about it is the mechanics, that not only is it a clock, but the fact that it serves the purpose. And that purpose is allowing you to choose where you want to go and what actions you want to take and where you want to try and get off the board. Are you searching for the tiles? Are you searching for favorite cards? Are you searching to go to the store? And keeping that all in mind as it's ticking around, you're trying to decide what choices are you going to make for that round. The other really great thing is I like the fact that each of the little mice have different abilities, be it a bigger storage system, jumping ahead, searching for more, or being able to teleport. So it gives you a lot of different strategies to work on as you play. So now a few things we don't like about the game. And the first is these quest cards, because the chance is very low that you actually have the combination they want. I think I've played this game a few times, and I've played with 1, 2, and 3 people. And I think I've only actually maybe cashed in 2 of these cards, because you rarely have that combination that they're asking for. And so I don't find them that beneficial. The next thing is when people take tiles, at the end of the round, they get refilled, but they don't get refreshed. So the tiles that weren't taken are still here. And by the end of the game, or later in the game, it's a whole pile of tiles that you don't want. I've been on where none of them are the tiles I needed to fill in my hunt board. And so therefore, you're forced to go to the actions to the spiderweb market to get the wild tokens to fill in. And you're trading in 2 tiles for 1. So it's taking you longer to fill in your hunt board for deliveries and that because you don't have the tiles you're actually looking for. And I just want to speak about playing. As I said, I played with 1, 2, and 3 people. For me personally, I think 2 people is a good amount. I found once we played with 3 people, you have 12 mice on the board, and you weren't even getting the opportunity to get the tiles because so many mice were ahead of you. So you're getting less tiles, and we also had a much lower score than we just played with 2 people. So overall, I think it's a really cute game, and as I said, it would be great to bring out when people are over because it's impressive looking. But for us as a family who have played the game now, it's not a game I think we'll pull out often. I'm going to keep it because I think it's really cool looking and a lot of fun, but it's just not the strategy we look for in a game. So let me know if you've played Hickory Dickory and what you think of the game.